Well, hello there again. So then, this video, well, I was already planning to release this video during weekend, but stuff keep happening, and so I did not have much time to do it. But now, since I do, I'm kind of posting several videos on series that ended from the summer season, and I'm giving my final impressions, my final thoughts on this series. So I kind of decided to do the same for this one at the same time. So the series I'm talking about is spring series, a series that started in the spring season called Ginga Kikotai Majestic Prince, or Majestic Prince for the short. And the series has 24 episodes and ended last week. And basically, this is a mecha series, sci-fi mecha, seinen, action, and school life. So, and basically, this series is kind of setting up in future reality in the 21st century or 21st century, and it's a time when the humans also began living in space. This series, in a way, kind of emulates the spirit of the Gundam series in a way, and of Takumeki Valvrave also. Uh, and there are a race, alien race that appeared around the area of planet Jupiter, and this race is called Vulgaro. And basically, there is a war going on between the Earthlings and this force centered around Jupiter. And to fight these menace, the mankind basically began to artificially raise and train children to be pilots of armored robots called HSMB, or Advanced High Standard Multipurpose Battle Device. And these childs basically they are artificially created, and basically they are trained since a younger age to become the pilots of this machine to fight on the war against this alien race. And basically the story follows a group of five initially that in the academy, these guys they have high specs as pilots, but they actually are known as the failed five, because even if they do have the skills and the specs to become great pilots, they cannot work with others, and usually they screw up in their training. So they kind of decided, since these guys were unable to work with others, they kind of put them all together into one group. And that was kind of, well, interesting, because we see the different personalities of the five characters, and we have the main, that is Itachi Izuru, and the guy basically he likes to draw manga and he dreams to become a hero like in the manga. And then we have two girls. We have Kay, that is or is aspiring to be cook in a way, and she kind of develops feelings for this guy Izuru. And we have another girl that is more flamboyant and more loose in his mind, Tamaki, and basically she wants to find a boyfriend. And then we have two other guys. We have Suruga, that is a guy with light brown hair, that is basically a guy that loves guns and has kind of a passion for guns. And we have a third character that is more older than these two, um, and eventually he kind of became also part of this group, and later on, near the end of the series, we learn that this guy is actually half brother of the main character Izuru, because the genes of Commander Simon, that is the commander of the academy and of a special assault group, basically he used his genes to bring life to these two. But in the case of the main character, we also have a defector from the Vulgaro side, called Peoria, and basically she gave also his genes to Izuru. So basically, the main character Izuru is kind of a mixture between from his mother's side from the Vulgaro and from his father's side from the human race. And basically, then we have the introduction of several commanding officers of the Vulgaro, especially a guy called Giard, that is a crown prince, and basically, and then we also learn that this Vulgaro, basically the human race kind of developed as a species thanks to these guys, the Vulgaro, that basically spread their genes across the galaxy, and then they go on a campaign of conquest and annihilation in with the goal of harvesting the genes of the species that developed through the spreading of their genes across space. And apparently the Vulgaro need to kind of do this to survive as a species. So that's kind of interesting. And then when they arrive at the solar system, and the human Earth obviously stands opposed to them, and then it's kind of tell us the story of this group through the war. We also have other characters that appeared. We have three guys that are the Doberman team, that are older students, and eventually they are a team of three. They are very funny. And we have also the chief engine of the Gondainan, that is the ship where they are assigned to. We have the captain of the ship is a female officer that was kind of the teacher of these guys in the academy, and then she was kind of promoted to captain of the ship and commanding officer of the group. And we also have, let me doing a quick because I need uh, to see the name of characters that appear halfway through the series, and this is also an interesting character. It's Ange, the officer Ange, that is the new he enters in the series halfway and became also part of Team Rabbits, and and the two brothers are Izuru, like I did say, the main character, and Azagi, that is older. This guy Azagi is the older of the three, and he also has some problems, health problems in his stomach and such. So, and well, basically this follows then the war of this group and of mankind against these alien menace, the Vulgaro. And basically this series ends after a lot of missions, and they are being used by the Earth government as propaganda and such. But the series eventually ends up with Izuru almost losing his mind through his Vulgaro blood in a way, and he was kind final battle, at the beginning he was not able to go to battle, and his friends are almost killed, and eventually came to the battle, and he kinda have a great impact on the battles area, and eventually at the end of the series they discover they were able to destroy a spatial gate that the Vulgaro built around Jupiter, and this location was found by the members of Team Doberman that were sent in a mission, and the three guys that they earlier met, and only one of them survives. The other two dies in the process of concluding the mission to bring the information to the Earth space forces about the location of the gate. And then this basically ends up with a big battle around the gate and eventually the destruction of the gate. And the series ends that way. So the series is interesting, is kind of a new wave alternative to the usual mecha anime that they did. I think it's kind of a try to make a new franchise of mecha anime in a different sense. It's so enjoyable to watch. The story, the characters, the character development and such, and the background story, well, it's not top notch. It's not top notch, but it's pleasant and it's enjoyable to watch. We have some twists around the series, it's true. We have one or two twitches that, for instance, I was not expected to happen, but that was interesting, especially relating the main character, this guy Izuru, and essentially that's it. So the series is, well, from my rating from 1 to 10, I will rate it as 7, 7.5. It was a good series. It was not an excellent one or a blow-minding series, but it's quite enjoyable. The interactions, the story, it's quite easy to follow. It's funny at some points, yes. It's also tragic, but one thing that they do is the tragedy parts. They were not present, but they are kind of lightened through the advancing of the series. And we have also good comedy moments, good interactions between the characters. We also see how they think, how they act, the doubts they have, and such. That's good. That's always good for character development. So I think that's it. So I recommend that you watch the series. It's enjoyable. It's pleasant. It's not very hard. It does not have a very profound plot line or a very complicated plot line and such. It's not. You will have 2 4 twists through all the series that they are interesting. They are good for the plot line itself. And basically, this is I will venture to say that this is kind of comparing this in a way to the Gundam series and even to Kakumeki Evolve or Valve the Liberator. I say that this is kind of a lighter version of that series in a way, in terms of plot. The story is not so dense, it's not so deep, it's not so profound and such as Kakumeki Evolve that has a very deep and profound meaning in it, and also the Gundam series. Usually, in the least the recent series that I did watch, the most recent, they do play a lot more in terms of psychological situations, psychological effects, and such. These have some of it, but not much of it. So that's the reason why I say this is kind of a light version of what usually happens in the Gundam stories, or even that happened in Kakuneke Valve or Valve to Liberate. So, and that's it. But this is also a good series if you want to start watching mecha anime series and such. You could probably start with this one. You will be familiar to the terms of mecha, the battle mechas and such. So, and it's light. So that's it. So this is my final impressions for Ginga Kikotai Majestic Prince. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and stay well. Peace and see you soon.